Welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, a weekly excerpt from the Scottish Rite Journal. This week's podcast article by Thomas Edison Jordan Jr., 32nd degree, is titled Knight of the Royal Axe, the Working Man's Degree, and comes from the January-February 2015 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. The 22nd degree of the southern jurisdiction of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is dedicated to the working man. It teaches us to respect labor for its own sake and to be willing to undertake work as a mission of man to improve the world. Actions, not ritual, are the way for men to honor the Creator and thus display gratitude for the labor that created the universe. Albert Pike attributes the origin of the degree to the Druze of the mountains of Lebanon. The degree recalls the history of some workmen's cooperative associations, known as colleges of artificers. Now, these were the early forms of guilds from which operative Masonic lodges would arise and later would transform into the symbolic Freemasonry of today. The Druze religion does not have rituals because it is believed that if men rely on rituals to forgive their transgressions against natural law, they will just transgress again in the future because of the belief that they can earn forgiveness by ritual absolution. The religion of the Druze is quite simple and without complicated rites. Its tenets are 1. Truthfulness. Love of the truth. 2. Fellowship. Take care of one another. 3. Abandoning false beliefs. 4. Avoidance of confusion. Avoid evil. 5. Accept divine unity in humanity. 6. Acceptance of all God's acts. And 7. Submission in accordance to God's will. The tenets rely on personal responsibility, not ritual or intermediaries. Man is directly responsible to God for his acts. The Druze have no clergy or priesthood. Those initiated into the religious mysteries, both men and women, are known as al-Uquail, knowledgeable initiates, and make up about 10% of the Druze people. All others are known as al-Huhel, the ignorant, meaning those who do not hold the secret knowledge. Simplicity of attire, self-denial, and temperate and irreproachable moral conduct are prerequisites to join the elite of the Druze. Only those initiated into the secret knowledge can pray and thus have direct access to God. Tobacco smoking, alcohol, and pork are rejected by the al-Uquail as a practice of purity because these represent violations of the purity of one's body. On the flap of the apron of the 22nd degree is a serpent with 3 heads. The serpent, denoting idleness, is the antithesis of constructive labor. 3 vices are symbolized by the serpent heads: drunkenness, impurity, and gambling. This echoes the Druze requirements of temperance for those who would seek a closer communion with the Creator of the universe. The Druze religion is one of secret practice of gnosis, or knowledge of transcendence, arrived at by way of interior intuitive means. The founding of the sect in the 11th century by the Egyptian Fatimid Caliph al-Hakim invoked an older secret knowledge passed down from the Egyptians. This parallels the legend of the mysteries supposed to have been conveyed to Moses in Egypt before he could marry the daughter of Jethro, a priest of Heliopolis. Now, these mysteries are said to have passed down among the adepts and to have legendarily formed the basis for the bond between King Solomon, Hiram, king of Tyre, and Grand Master Hiram Abiff, as described in Freemasonry. The Druze believe that in every time period, 5 different spirit virtues have reincarnated as prophets on earth to teach humans the true path to God: reason, soul, word, precedence, and eminence of God's presence. They also believe in the wisdom of classical Greek philosophers, such as Socrates, Plato, and Pythagoras, who have the same stature as other prophets. For the Druze, there are 3 levels of understanding or knowledge: the obvious, zahir, accessible to anyone; the hidden, batin, open to those who search and learn; and the hidden of the hidden, only accessible to a very few enlightened individuals who have grasped the nature of the universe. Now, many of our Scottish Rite brothers who do not live near forests of the tall cedars of Lebanon may not be familiar with the ritual of this appendant body, which is often publicly performed and available as a DVD recording. The message of the degree is worthiness of voluntary work for the good of all. In the ritual, the king of Tyre responds to a request from King Solomon for cedar wood for the temple. King Hiram does not require those engaged in the labor of their profession in support of their families to abandon their work to fell the cedars. He asks only that those not actively employed take up the labor for the benefit of others, King Solomon, not for any formal duty, but only because it has been asked of them. It does not matter that a person be a skilled artisan, for the labor that is asked to be performed is simple. In the tall cedars of Lebanon degree, an unemployed master woodcarver should not be too proud to cut trees as a simple lumberjack. This is similar to the Scottish Rite 22nd degree, in which a knight must put aside the regalia and do simple labor to earn the honor of the degree. Both the Scottish Rite and Tall Cedars of Lebanon degrees speak of the men of Sidon in Phoenicia, where the Druze now live. The men of Sidon later procured the Tall Cedars of Lebanon for the Temple of Solomon. The Sidonian degree, the 2nd degree of the Tall Cedars of Lebanon, is named for these workmen. The axe that rests upon the altar in the 22nd degree is inscribed with Hebrew letters that represent the initials of patriarchs, kings, builders, and workmen. These men were inspired to build or to enable the construction of places of sanctuary or worship to the one God. Their labor built the ark that served as sanctuary for Noah and his family in the flood, the tabernacle of Lord that held the tablets of the law for the 40 years' journey from Egypt to Canaan, then in the Temple of Solomon, the 2nd temple, and the rebuilt walls of Jerusalem. Now we as Freemasons are now called upon to labor and build our own temple within, not made with human hands, that is symbolic of our worshipful relationship to the Creator. As always, any citations and photos for this article can be found in the corresponding print edition of the Scottish Rite Journal. The Scottish Rite Journal is published by the Supreme Council of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite, 33rd degree, Mother Supreme, Council of the World. Editor-in-Chief, the illustrious S. Brent Morris, 33rd degree. I'm your announcer, Bob Chase, 33rd degree. Thanks for listening.